Alright, so this is Black Crowes Remedy. Really fun song to play. It'd be kind of difficult if you want to learn how to do the solo and everything. That's kind of advanced, but other than that, it's not really that hard. The song is in open G, which is a new one. I haven't shown you this one yet, but this is a lot of modern rock songs also, which they do a lot of open C as well. So what you do, you're going to take the top two strings, the low E and the A string, and you're going to tune them down a full step. Alright, so E goes to D like you're playing drop D, but A is going to go down to G, okay, or a full step. Now the other, the D string, G string, and B string, you leave them alone. And the real way to play an open G is to actually take your bottom E string and tune it up 3 half steps, or a step and a half, to that G note. But don't do that for this if you're going to try to play the solo for the song. So what you actually do is just leave it alone, just leave it tuned to just the high E down there, and you're not going to play that during the rhythm, but that allows you to play the solo. If you listen to the studio version of this song, there's 2 guitars, and the one that's doing the guitar solo is not tuned that way, it's just tuned standard. But when I do the solo, I only use the bottom 4 strings, so it's just a way to put the 2 together. Alright, so when you do the bar chords, you're going to let the root note be the A string stuff. So you kind of want to just rest your finger against that bottom, the low E string at the top, and don't play it when you're doing these little bars. Alright, but the general idea behind this tuning is, if you do this, if you look at it, I'm just up here at the 8th and 10th fret here, and I'm not going to play the top string, but I'm just going to bar the 10th, just play those first 3 strings, and then go back to the A, do the same thing. And if you just do this 2-note power chord right above it on the 8 and the 10, just like you would any power chord, that goes with a key. Okay? So here's how the song starts out. You'll hear the bass kind of drop, so just get ready if you're going to try to play along with it. He's going to start at the 10, he's going to go 10, 9, 5. Okay? Alright, and then after that, he plays a little rhythm thing, and then he's going to go 8 to 7 to 3. Okay? And really what you're playing there is like an A flat chord, and when you're on the 5, what you're playing is a C chord. This song is in C. And then you add your own kind of thing in here. You could try to play it like he's playing it if you want. It's really not that hard, but I always kind of just try to have fun with it and do some little riffs in that opening part, and maybe even sometimes during the verses. So here's how it sounds. Alright, he does that again. And you don't have to do any of that other stuff. You can just do some downstroke, palm muting stuff, and it sounds great. So he does that kind of twice, but then on the last time when he goes down to the 3rd fret, you're going to come up here and you're going to play this little lead lick. If you want to, you don't have to. You can just stay there with the G string, or with the A flat chord if you want. Or I guess that's the A sharp chord. Excuse me. All right, so here's how that sounds. Alright, so all he's doing there is just taking the 8th fret and bending it up on the G string. And go ahead and put your index finger down on the 8th fret B and E strings, the bottom 2 strings. And just as you bend it up, just downstroke back here the other 2. That's really good blues stuff. Alright, I do it with my middle finger. I think a lot of people find it more comfortable to do it with their ring finger. And notice I'll let the G string go when I'm hitting those bottom 2, just because I like the way it sounds better. Alright, so you have to kind of listen to the song to get the rhythm, but I'll play it one time. That's how many times you do it. Okay? And listen to the song for that. Alright, now when he starts into the verses, he's just going to go back and forth between that C chord and the, I guess, what is that? That's the A sharp chord. or B flat. I guess you call that one B flat. All right. So the rhythm there, I play it a little differently than he does. All right. When he goes into the verses, what you're gonna do is just go on the 5th fret to 3rd fret. Okay. So that's like a C chord. The song's in C, and that B flat chord, the A sharp chord. I think they call it A sharp. So the rhythm, I do like a little sort of a downstroke palm muting back here, just to have it a little bit more of a like a punk rock feel to it. But you can do it however you want. But the only other part to the rhythm is every now and then he's going to hammer on from the 5th fret, and you use your middle finger on the B string to the 6th, and your ring finger on the D string to the 7th. So it's just a... He's going to do that every now and then. And if you don't want to do it that way, or if that's trouble, just do the 7th fret. Yeah, that's just a blues, or this is blues. And he does the same thing on the 3rd fret down here on the B flat. So the way I do it. He's going to go back up here to the 8th, to the 7th, to the 3rd. But this time you're going to let it ring, okay? And then the little thing he's playing is that same little hammer on that you're doing in the other part. But I don't play the ring finger part. I think it sounds better when I just do down here on the 4th fret with my middle finger. Now, the hardest part to this song is going from there, playing that little lead lick, and then catching it back up here on the 10th fret. So it's all about the rhythm. And I can't even do this any slower than this, guys. I'm sorry. I was trying a minute ago and I couldn't do it. So just kind of watch this hand, how many times it goes down. Rewind that and play it, and maybe you can count. I don't know the count of it. I just kind of if you can listen to the drums of this one, you can feel the rhythm of the song. So after he does that, it's just a little chorus part. So he's going to go from the 3rd fret to the 6th fret. Then he's going to play this 6 and 8 power chord on the top 2 strings. And then the 8th fret to the 6th fret. Okay, and this is how it sounds. It's kind of a different, it's kind of a funky rhythm. Notice there at the end, you kind of hit that, 2 sharp down strokes to get that sound out of it. And other than that, you have to kind of mix up a little bit of palm muting. You can't just get in there and strum it, or it's not going to have that little kind of funky feel to it. So if you want to kind of just pay attention to the back of my hand here when I'm doing it. basically that's the whole song. He goes right back into the verses after that. I'll show you some of the kind of the lead licks you can do during all that stuff. All I'm doing is going on the G string there on the 7th fret, just bending it, doing a little pinch harmonic every now and then, down to the 5th fret, and then the D string on the 7th. It's just those 3 notes. Just hitting that root note, you know, coming back from it, and then I usually just do sort of the same thing down here. So, you know, you can do a lot of different stuff in there. If you know the blues scale that I showed you, just play with that. You can do anything you want to with that. Alright? So let's see, the solo I guess is the only other thing. The second time he goes through the little chorus breakdown, when he gets to the part where instead of going to the 3rd fret, you're just going to go right here to that 8th fret note on the G string and just bend it up and do that same little riff. Only now you want to try to do a guitar solo, okay? So what I do is this little riff. I just take 8, bend it up, let it down, pull off to the 6. And then on the D string, 8 to 6. Alright, and then I usually go up and do the little 8 to 6 again. But you don't have to, you can do whatever you want right there. And then if you slide it up from the 8 to the 10, we're changing keys here. So now you're going to be playing the pentatonic scale up here where it's, you know, the 10 and the 8th frets. Alright. And I play that part the same every time just because that's how he's actually playing it, I think. And that's how I learned it. But this is just a simple kind of just a blues kind of rundown. So all you're doing there is sliding up to the 10 on the G string, and then is 8, 8, B to E string, back to the 8 on the B, and then take the 11th fret on the B string and bend it up, and try to do a little tremolo there. And you know, you can do whatever you want to. You can hit the 8th fret on the E string if you want to do it that way. I usually just kind of do a little pull off there. Alright, and then that part is just a whole lot of that fancy stuff I showed you with the pentatonic scale. This really looks like you're doing a lot more than you are. Okay, so it's just really just 8 and 10. But you want to land on the root note right here. This is the D string on the 10th fret. Okay, and then he's going to switch back down again. When he's playing that B flat chord, the minor pentatonic part of the guitar that you want to play in is right here on the 8th and the 6th frets. And if you notice the pattern here, if you go up 1, 2, 3 frets, that's the way you do it. If you're playing in where he's playing in the B flat, you go up 3 frets to do the pentatonic scale in that. I think somebody was asking about that. And then when he's up here playing on the 5th fret, you go 1, 2, 3, and now look where you're at. You're at the 10th and the 8th frets doing it there. All right. So root notes, make sure you handle those. Oh, and when he comes back down here, that's really when you just kind of, I think you know, you probably want to play something that you're comfortable with doing. I usually just do a lot of kind of triplet stuff, walking up and down that pentatonic scale right there, and then just timing the next part as best as you can. Alright, so there's a root note there. A lot of times I try to land down there just because it sounds cool. Okay. And then when he changes it again, slide back up on the G string to the 10th fret, You really don't even have to do that. What he's going to do, and I usually play it with there just because it sounds cool, but on the 11th fret you bend it up. Then on the 8th fret G string, bend that one up. I actually bend that down when I bend that one. And then that's the 10th fret on the D string. So it's... Alright, and then the next part he's playing is actually the top part of that same scale. Okay, which is, you know, if you're down here and you're playing it right, he's going to play it on that different mode that I'll show you guys. So if you go G string to the 12th fret, and remember the little triangle part. Alright, so you got, you know, bottom two strings is just the 11th and 13th fret, and then you got the 12th fret on the G string. Anything in there you want to do, and then it comes up, that's the 15th fret, and it's the same little triangle because he switched the keys again. And then when he bends that one up, I always try to land, you want to land on that C note. Remember how the song's in C, right? So when you bend the 15th fret on the B string up, catch the E string 12th fret, and then the C note, 13th fret, B string. Sorry. And that's how you do it. So I'll try to play the whole thing, and I'll try to slow this part down a little bit. You know, it's hard for me to even do it without the drums. Okay, and then right there in the little kind of funky breakdown thing, if you go back down to the 8th and 6th frets here, you're going to do this on the G and the B strings, and then on the D strings where he's getting that next little piece. Alright, so those are double stops. You're playing two strings at a time, then here you're playing one at a time, and you bend that last one up. And then that last one, he's sticking on the D string on the 6th fret. Alright, so that's the G string to the D string there. Okay, and then it's just sort of that funky chorus that he plays through the rest of it. You know, and then at the end he's going to hit another, and that's the end of the song. I usually try to do like you can have a lot of fun with that stuff. So go back and look at that pentatonic scale. Get to where you can change those keys. Okay, really he's just taking it from the 6 and the 8 to the 8 and the 10. And just making sure you're looking at those root notes. Remember where they are. If I'm looking at the 8 and the 10, the root notes are on the D string 10th fret. The bend this one up on the 11th fret on the B string. And then if you want to use that one on the 8th fret on the bottom E string. Alright, it's a fun song. Good luck with it. Hopefully you can figure that one out because it's pretty cool.